All right. Now, today we're going to look at some other uses, and these uses are a little more kind of higher level or higher standard. But it's important that you know, because when you learn grammar, the whole purpose of learning grammar is to how to use it in your everyday life. All right, either in speaking or in reading or in writing. Basically, in speaking and writing. How do you use it, and when do you use it? You should know that, all right? So it's important to know the different uses there. And that is why I'd like to also introduce to you the most important use of the passive sentence today. Okay, so let's just revise what we did the other day. And let me see if you can change these into either a passive sentence or an active sentence. Let's see if you can do that. Okay. All right, so let's start with the first one. Farmers usually harvest wheat in June. Farmers usually harvest wheat in June. Can you change this into a passive sentence? Anybody?
The wheat usually harvests in June.
Wheat is usually harvested by farmers in June.
Okay, now there's a problem with the verb that you're using. You have to use the third form of the verb.
Harvested.
Participle.
It is harvested.
Harvested. That's good. All right. Be very careful with this because this is a very common mistake. The third form of this is harvested. All right. So please remember that if it is a regular verb, you just put an ed there. If it's an irregular verb, then you have to know, how it changes. All right. So in this case, it's a regular verb. So all you have to do is just put an ed. So farmers usually, all right, not usually, all right, wheat is usually harvested in June.
In June.
Wheat is usually harvested in June. No need to say by farmers because those people who are harvesting and growing crops are farmers. So it's obvious, okay? So you don't have to say the obvious. So that is where you have to be careful. No need to mention the doer of the action when it's a passive verb. All right. So if you really have to mention it, or if there's, if confusion is being caused, if you don't mention it, then you mention it. Otherwise, if it is understood, no need to mention the doer. Okay. What about the next one? My aunt chops meat finely for her momos. Passive.
Passive.
Yes.
Meat.
Momos
finely for momos.
Finally.
Yes, yes. Wait. Look at the look at the receiver. It's meat.
Meat is
aunt chops meat, Ridwa. This is the receiver of the action, not momos. All right. Okay. So be careful. Meat.
Meats
are finely chopped
for momos.
For momos.
Not chopped it, chopped.
Chopped.
Right?
Chopped.
Meat
finely
is,
for momos.
This is present tense, all right? So meat is chopped finely.
Finely for momos.
All right.
For momos.
Right. Then now here you can say by my aunt.
By
right?
my aunt, yeah.
By my aunt. So chopped. All right. So meat is finely chopped for momos by my aunt. Okay. Okay. So they love good. All right. Okay. What about number 3? Our butcher sold the best quality meat. Passive. Change it to passive.
Best quality meat is sold
by our butcher.
This is past
by
tense.
our
Sell.
Sell. Oh, sell.
No, this itself is past.
Sold.
Sold.
You don't say is. You don't say is. You say was.
Sold. Was.
Yes.
Was.
The best quality
Meat
meat was
sold
by our
butcher.
Was sold.
The best quality meat was rita. The past tense was all right. We were present in is the are. Okay. So the best quality meat was sold. The past participle of sold is sold. Ranjare. This is an irregular verb.
No.
So sell, sold, sold. All right.
Sold.
So the is the or delia. In the passive sentence, you use a be verb with the third form of the verb. So be careful. If it is past, use was. All right. If it is plural, use
Was.
were. Okay. Was the word. Mangzi the word. Okay. If it's present, is present plural are. All right. Now, what about number 4? Women baked their bread at home. This is also past tense, please. Here, baked is past tense. It is regular.
Bread was baked at
Their
the
bread,
home.
At home.
their
At
bread
home.
was baked at home.
Their bread was baked at home
Baked
by
at
the
home.
by women. All
By
right. For
the
your
women.
you don't need to say they. Bread was baked at home by
baked,
women.
yeah.
Bread was baked at home
Baked
by
at the
women.
home by women.
Bread bread was baked at home by women.
Alright.
Okay. What about number 5? Water is usually boiled in kettle to make quick tea. Water. Now this is passive.
Passive,
You
yeah.
say is boiled. There is boiled. Now this is only an adverb over here. So is boiled. Okay, which makes it passive.
Okay.
Water is usually
Is
boiled
usually
in kettle
boiled in kettle.
to make quick tea.
Okay.
I usually boil water in kettle to make quick tea.
You can put an I, you can put a we, or you can also put people. People.
Noun.
People usually boil
Boil water
in
Water
kettle
in a
All right.
kettle.
to
make
make
quick
quick
tea.
tea.
Quick tea.
So there is a subject chigab shall chigre. All right. So I
Okay.
kemne we kemne people kemne All right. Okay. What about number 6? Fruits and vegetables must be washed before eating. This is active. All right. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is passive.
Passive. So
Change into active.
we
must
must
wash fruits and
fruits
vegetables before eating.
before eating.
That's right. We must wash
Wash.
food and vegetables before eating. Okay.
Mhm.
Mask should be worn at all times.
We
We should
wear
warn
masks.
masks.
to
At all
We
times.
should warn masks at
No,
all.
no, no, not worn.
Wear.
Worn
We
is
should wear.
participle.
Oh,
should
where?
Wear masks
we should
at all
we
times.
should
Wear masks
wear
at
wear
all times.
at all times.
All right. We should wear masks at all
masks.
times. Wear chagda de. Okay.
Now,
All right. What about number 8? Social distancing
social
must be
distancing must be
maintained.
maintained.
We
We
must maintain social
distance.
Yes, we must maintain social
Maintain social
distancing.
distance.
All right. Number 9. People are using too much bottled water.
Bottled water are too
Now
much used.
you can use this with the bottled water. Bottled water too much sigmare. Too much bottled
Too
water.
much bottled water are used.
This is you have to
Too
you have to
much
make it
Make it passive,
passive.
yeah.
too much bottle
Too much
Water.
bottled
Too much
water
bottled
are
water
used.
are used.
used.
Okay. Not water. This water is uncountable. So don't use are. Use is.
Is
Too much bottled water
water
is
bottle
used.
Is here continuous tense. How will you write that continuous tense in passive sentence?
Is used.
Is being
Being.
used.
Yes.
Being used, yeah.
Continuous tense passive sentence. Put a being there.
Being
Too much bottled water is being
is
used
being
by people.
by people.
All right. Okay. Too much bottled water is being used. People. All right. Too much bottled water is being used. When there is an adverb here, all right, use this is an adjective because it's coming before a noun. So adjective noun because this adjective is describing the noun there. All right. What about number 10? Climate changes have caused the rise of temperature in many areas. This is supposed to be areas, yes. Areas. Change into passive. This is active. Have caused is present perfect tense. Yes.
Rise of climate change, rise of temperature in many areas.
Many areas.
Yeah. Is caused by the climate changes.
No, this is present perfect. This is have caused. It's present perfect. Use have.
Have caused by climate change.
Temperature in many areas.
The active nalia passive na yomare have caused sigmare. The active now. This is an active verb.
Yeah.
Right. So we are saying the rise of temperature. The rise of temperature
in many areas has
In many
caused,
areas, has
has
been,
caused, has
been
been
there,
caused.
been there, has
One.
been caused. Just passive sentence now be plus the participle rida. So there is a
Is
be
the-
plus the participle. All right. So now here, because you have a helping verb have, all right. So the be verb should be been over here. The third form of be is been. All right.
yes, have
Be been the be here. The present nalia am the is the are. Past nal was the were. The past participle na been re. So you have to put have been caused. Have been caused. All right. The rise of temperature in many
Temperature in
areas
many areas
has been caused
by climate
by
change.
climate changes. Has been caused by. Be very careful over here. They did the present perfect rida. So have che, yana has che, and then a bin bin has been here because why is it has? Because it's coming after temperature. Temperature or while this is singular. So has. All right, has been caused. Okay, third person singular has been caused. All right. So that is chikanya take the third perfect tenses now you do down continuous tense now you do con continuous tense now you put a being there. All right, is being used, is being taught, is being done. So that is passive continuous. Okay. All right. And then when it is perfect, all right, passive present perfect, then you have to say have been, and then you put the verb. Have been, and you put a verb. All right. Been said the para the lego word, and that'll make it perfect tense. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So lots of practice. Okay. Practice manguchena rangshing tundu kanama automatic chogre. It becomes automatic if you practice a lot. Practice shira machine na nondu ranja so degree. All right. So this is just a revision of what we did the other day. Now today we're going to look at other uses, some more important uses, okay, of the passive sentence and the active sentences. This is important. Now, the passive sentence, when you use the passive sentence, what happens is that, you know, the doer of the action is considered not important. Passive sentence. That is why sometimes you don't even mention it. All right. Sometimes you put it at the end of the sentence to show that it's not important. All right. So now what really happens is when you do that, your language becomes very impersonal. All right. So the it's not personal. It's like, you know, there's no emotion in it. All right. So since it does not sound personal, I, the you, the we, the it becomes kind of detached. All right. Lo sur the never say it. What the sugar? All right. The merche, every mercher, this year the ming the catch in shadow to one, action the catch shoots to one. So, so thing nature get sugar, get you the objectively get you the one. Passive sentence, the cover the leg. All right. So it's used a lot in formal language, not informal. Usually in written language, right? And written all right. So let's see where it's used. Now, I don't know if you've heard about academic writing. Academic writing is called scholarly writing. Scholarly writing is when you're writing researches, when you're writing essays, all right, and when you're writing scientific findings. Okay, those are scholarly. Oh, these are scholarly, and they're usually done in universities. Universities in writing. Now, those writings usually, all right, use the passive sentence because in those writings, you have to keep an objective mind. I'm sure you know what objective is. Subjective, objective, objective, lo subutu nene choni le maya che ene kima de che ni deshe gebe chimbri chinur that is called objective. Okay, so the speaker's name or the doer's name is not at all mentioned over here. All right, the chair, mother, queer chair, mer chair, the lumar, queer the murder, and a concert that said, make the kun yomare. All right, those chair, see the Digi language here. All right, that is very frequently used in academic language. And so when you do that, passive voice is used. All right. So if you look at this, these are writings done in colleges and universities, such as in scientific writings, essays, and researches. All right. Now, such writings are very impersonal. All right, because the focus is not on the doer of the action. The focus is on the work. Action can focus, or on the result of the work. Yana. Focus, not the person who's doing it. So the person who's doing it, the name of that person who's doing it is considered unimportant. All right, so rather than the person doing it. Therefore, the passive sentence is often used in academic writings to make it sound objective. All right, academic writings to do con college that the ball in yamshi that they not to do con yangsi passive sentence the pejutangre. Why? Because objective taichit lo subur to nature any teshesh my jabi diki chorwat shukchumbulaya chedu any passive sentence kyo has passive sentence and dagaran re chaju rangalia dirtegramato suche yemekan lungati. So this is where the passive sentence is frequently used. Nyamshi leganayor the shukchet nyamshi rikta ani therigi deshe the project and the deshe kyo experiment chedita re ya essays then already. All right, objective essays then. All right, so that's where you would see passive sentences being used. All right, now in the passive sentence is also very frequently used in legal language. All right, again here the law is more important than the person who is writing or making the law. So that is again where the passive sentence is used. All right, so in the same way you will find such sentences used in official letters. Shungi yigita dinde nalolia shungi chik timja gigi ne re seta che yigi dinde yine re tijunalia injinal passive sentence pejutangre ya shungi ne re chokbe gi tigzu ta dinde te shikibe in passive nali yore. All right, so dinalia we see the I see the ligmare. Okay, so the ko tim ko keche tim the teshe ga keche ma the tim sugi jegi yeme the sugi yeme the keche mu medu kone passive sentence on ligyare. So again, you will see passive sentences in journalism. All right, newspaper, the TV ki news report, and this is not shedi mangbuchi either we that yomare. Again, it is being objectively delivered, journalism. All right, and official letters. And then nyeshukep to yigi yama shungli nyeshukebe yinere kawal soba kawal nyeshukep to kone. It is again the passive sentence. You'll see a lot of passive sentences being used. And then if you want to write a letter to the newspaper or to an editor, you use the passive sentence. You're writing business letters, you use the passive sentence. All right. These are some examples of where you will see passive sentences used. And the main reason is to make it impersonal. All right. Not to make the person who's saying more important, but the work more important. All right. Lega chengedi kechum bare lega kechum bitsin la we lega chengedi ming tung kor matinal tinde yindu kon passive sentence to shukchum boyal chesa shungi yigje ta timgi yigje ta tinde nanolia any passive sentence tire. All right, that is why their language is totally different from the language that we use in our everyday life. Nyindar pejo tainki language ta shungi yigje na language te pet logayor. All right, so this is important. And you will see some examples. All right. Okay. So now where do you use the active sentence? Now, active sentence is usually spoken language. It's very simple. All right. So you find them in your journals, diary, active. And in active sentences, what happens is the subject is considered more important. I did this, he did this, she did this, we did this. And All right. Okay, and then of course in your blogs and then emails and stories and personal letters, this kind of a sentence is used. All right. It makes you feel closer to what you're saying. So suki kadlab da so so ni nyawshuch ligre dina nyawshu ta nyawshuch sorwa de ta nyawshujar. All right. So normally you use this language with people you know very well. Your friends, your parents, all right? Mado chick sosule yang bu chimbe passive. Okay, so the peyunale dua. Okay, so chick yang ting min dua chogo chomul tibna shingi ya shungli yigi tinde ting marwa. All right, so there is a difference there. So formal letters, formal language, informal language. So passive is formal, active is informal. Do you understand? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, or did that? Okay, now let's see. I'll just show you how this sentence changes when you change a sentence into active and passive. Actively a kandich kogdo, passively a kandich kogdo si ade. All right. So here, this is active. I let the handbrake off and the car ran away. Nyegi brake learning car shooting I let the handbrake off and the car ran away. This is active sentence. All right. So it clearly shows you who is doing the action is more important. You can clearly see the doer there. Okay, so this is active sentence, and it's very easy to understand. Now, the passive the handbrake was released by the driver, causing the car to run away. It's the same meaning, but see how the language changes suddenly. The handbrake was released by the driver, causing the car to run away. What difference do you see? This is passive. I let the handbrake off and the car ran away. Passive the handbrake was released by the driver, causing the car to run away.
Now, one is considering or emphasizing more on the action.
Yeah.
And one is considering more on the doer.
Doer, yes. So which one? Which one is emphasizing the doer?
Yeah, the active is emphasizing more on the doer.
Okay. And the passive is
more on the action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how does it make you feel? Grammatically, you see that.
Yes.
All right. So when you hear it, what kind of a feeling arises in you? I let the handbrake off and the car ran away. The handbrake was released by the driver, causing the car to run away.
It is not pointing who have done it.
I don't want you to tell me what it is doing, but then how does it make you as a listener feel? I let the handbrake off and the car ran away. How is it different? Don't explain to me the structure there. Structure domshik grammar deshe magevche. Shemba lamsa di kobna chik. Khod delele kebarishte be. Khod delele kebadbe. I let the handbrake off and the car ran away. The handbrake was released by the driver, causing the car to run away. Which is easier for you to understand?
Yeah, the active.
Active is easier. Why?
Less sentence.
Yes. Yes, somebody is saying it. Yes.
Yeah, in active sentence is less sentence.
Yes, the sentences are shorter.
Shorter, yes.
So it's always easier to understand, isn't it? And it's very direct. It's easier to understand, isn't it?
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
simple. It's like you would normally speak in this kind of a language. I did this, I did that, I did it. Because it's very easy to understand. Newspapers na TV sorry the handbrake was released by the driver, causing the car to run away. You can clearly see a very impersonal tone in it. Okay, information dig your search. Do you see?
Yes.
Your needs mother dinner lolly, it's already a dinner lolly. You can clearly see a lot of feeling up there, a lot of emotional tone or personal tone up there.
Yes.
Fact here, only the fact is being explained or the fact is being told. Over here, it's a lot of, I did it, then the car ran away, so you can immediately get a personal tone up. That's the big difference between, active sentences and passive sentences. Passive sentences make it very formal, shujar, all right? Active sentences make it very informal and easier to understand. Okay, now here, this is interesting. This is supposed to be an announcement. Chikti active na tina any kandej kogda. Namgu get sugar to here. Chikti kande kogda siya. Watch out, guys. Subsub chesigar. Watch out, guys. I have noticed over the past few weeks, the restaurant's been charging people way too much. Watch out, guys. I have noticed over the past few weeks, the restaurant's been charging people way too much. Okay? All right, so someone lolia kendo yoelia see there is so chelia. And yegi kare I've noticed over the past few weeks tunta kashish nalia and sangang milia shusling you with tonachun slower. Rwaya saganti. All right. The restaurant's been charging people way too much. All right. So then I'm going to get oh, number two subsana mado kunzu date bet korungu shusling the das love you. Okay. Please be aware that it has been brought to our attention in recent weeks that the restaurant has been overcharging its customers. Do you see a difference?
No.
The way? Dinal solo yo mare. Dus chigados la nene zuit len chibote yar. Dinali so future dinali sabso che torwa tam yare. Dinali ne zu ma de chibore. All right, needs to dinal. So this uses the passive sentence. This uses the active sentence. So this is how the personal, the active and the passive sentences impact the listener. All right. This is very personal. This is impersonal. Right. Please be aware that it has been brought. Passive has been brought. That's passive.
Yes.
To our attention
Yes.
in the recent weeks that the restaurant has been charging. See, has been charging. They passive. Yeah. Okay, so they're not passive. They're passive. This is watch out, guys. I have noticed personal over the past few works that the restaurant's been charging way too much. So here you can see active sentence. All right, although you can see this is passive. They're the passive now, but then there's a lot of personal touch in it. There's a personal tone in it. Okay, okay, so this is mostly in active, all right, and this is mostly in passive sentence. So this is how an active and a passive. The kawakarna pejurs and doom down the nanrolia and active yar. All right. Tim ki yigi ta announcement ta dinde yor wa chi shungi yigcha ta dinde ta aniya nyamshi gi yigcha ta dinde nanrolia di pejutengre shukchet. 제가 또 망부치기 거라서 러그레와 가지고 인지 카실로도 고추도 아니 노벨 단데로도 고추고 멘도스에데 요래 가르스 language 마다 베주탄데 right so novel lo the active shukche active sentences re 서로 shukchumlu요 디난로 any 제보봇 개추부진 랍데요 all right so some people are used to this language all right and so they find it easier to use this and understand this language some people are very used to this language mixegi second language now foreign language English as a foreign language jange in pangche tinde lo de re Logteb nangi science ki textbook na tivata, social studies ki textbook na tivata, any newspaper na liya lo tigota, any news magazine dende na lo li article tivata, spangche di pejutangre. Chen dinde shata lo dengi di kochugri ni di loga to kochug maria. You understand? All right. Okay. So if you want to improve your language, you've got to understand both the types of languages, personal and impersonal, active and passive. So you have to be, if you want to improve your active language, read a lot of novels. All right? If you want to improve your passive language or your formal language, you can read a lot of news articles, newspapers, internet language theory. Okay? Interesting. Ninalia namju yorba.
No.
Kebayo jorbe tende.
책치 토마도 근데 제가 영어예요.
Keba yungo orwaya.
책치 톰보
And
배주다요.
tick this top ejetaeda. Any chick shungi timja yigi tabutende yina the chick. This comma they tabutende da yandum but yorba chick doom sort she dan the zum the yina yan ko there yungurwaya. The condes ni media tick comment engine not comment chigo mare. All right. Structure for you all right. China din formal language not sing it okay. Yene domshi kora chazi getna koran juwech tetu okay.
Yes.
All right. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, just to give you information. All right.
Yeah.
That really active sentence passive okay. You have to be very good with the active sentence. And then this turns yon de yamdo kali ya dizu yarket na elia ani dinde yigi tie giri yor wachi newspaper dan dinde na newspaper language pejotan law brichina ani theory na lia chi koran su teshe dam de karigim dizu law brichinur ba and mangche di pejotan gre chasa karlone chi dam de law sig to right du law re and sarsho ye law re your wachik theory tan chig chizo rine dan dinde ka le yan chig kari everything dizu law changlo language manda yor sigdwa just an dam under law jine any yar get to this chig inji koye de le dum law denge yan the newspaper ko chung mar newspaper law denge dum ko chung mar ya dinan kyo mare dan denge tona kar chons na gi tazan na diwaliya and the day ki scholarly work law de da has nyamshi read of the data philosophy of the data and correct newspaper da the day ki shulog to this city page chance dikho te yor in di law de dum kora law de koshita ma chung search to mixegi novel ring bud law de ani kochug mindu se yu go okay so dam under law se dire all right law de dam under law now. All right, so that's about how the passive and the active sentences are used in different ways. Okay, but we have some practices over here. Let's impersonal passive constructions. Passive, the sentence, the impersonal conditions. So we made. For example, here's an example. All right, they say the PM is dying. All right, the Prime Minister is dying. They say Kunzulaguya is the Prime Minister. The Prime
Minister is the head of the cabinet and the leader of the ministers in the executive branch of government, often in a parliamentary or semi-presidential. Should
All
I
right.
continue?
Google Home the Kegel. All right, they say the Prime Minister is dying slow. All right, so the active rate. That the passive non-role, formal show in a certain year. All right, instead of saying they look the being the all right, you can say it is said that the PM is dying. So it the pejotize that will make it passive and that will make it formal. Another way is to put the PM for the PM is said to be dying. The PM is said to. So there are two ways of changing it into passive. It negotsu de chebopo the okay. It is said. The laguyores twa. The sheguyores Prime Minister is dying. They malabche de sudu chebopo mean the kudutembrwa. All right. Okay. Now let's look at these. Let's see if you can change it into these. They said that the concert will finish by 11 p.m. Use it. Use it. Dinda.
No.
Passive sura. They said that the concert will finish by 11 p.m. Oh.
It is said.
It said that the concert will be finished
by
By 11 p.m. All right. Will the concert will finish
by 11 p.m.
by 11 p.m. So it is said that the concert will finish by 11 p.m. It is said, it is said that the concert will finish by 11 p.m. Okay, now there's a second way of doing it.
No.
All right.
The concert will be finished by 11 p.m.
Oh, the concert will be finished by 11
p.m.
So okay. All right. Let's look at the second one. People said that she had been driving drunk.
Yes.
Start with it.
It is said that she had been driving drunk.
Yes, it
She had
said
been
that
drunk.
she had been driving drunk. Okay, the second one.
And this.
She had been driving drunk.
People said that she had been driving
drunk.
She is said to
She
have
said she had been driving drunk. She said to have been driving drunk.
She is said to have been driving drunk. She is said to have been driving drunk. All right. She is said to have been driving drunk. All right. She is said to have been driving drunk. Okay. What about this one? They thought she lied to the police. Oh.
It is said that they thought. It is said that
she lied to the police.
She lied to the police.
Yes, you can say it is thought that she lied to the police. They the mercer. Okay, impersonal chapter. All right. What about the other one?
She thought.
She is thought.
She thought to be. She thought lied to the police.
She was thought.
She was thought lied to the police.
She was taught
lied to the police.
No.
To the police.
To
be lied.
She was taught to have lied to have lied. She was taught to have lied to the police. She was taught to have lied to the police. Oh, to have to lie to Mare. Okay, what about this one? People knew he committed the murder. It goes to the liar.
It was known that
yes,
he committed murder.
It was known that he committed the murder.
The
right?
murder.
And then he is known.
He is known
to have committed the murder.
Have committed the murder.
Perfectly, he is known to have committed the
Known
murder.
to have committed murder.
Okay. Now let's look at this one. People claim she is a secret agent, spy or secret agent in.
It is claimed.
It is claimed that she is
a secret agent.
Claimed.
Right. It is claimed that she is a
She
secret
is a secret agent.
She is claimed to be. Now is the beach.
She is claimed to be a secret
agent.
Is claimed
to be the beach
to be a
secret agent.
secret agent.
Yes, she is claimed to be a secret agent. So in this way, you can change into a passive, all right, using starting with it, or you can use the receiver of the action. Passive. All right, so that is some example of how to make the, make impersonal passive constructions. All right, let's see. Thinking example. Impact, more examples. All right, now you'll see that this is a story of the Titanic. Have you heard of the story of the Titanic? The big ship that sunk?
Yeah.
Have you seen this movie?
No.
Yes.
Movie Titanic,
Yes, ma'am.
Hollywood movie. Yes, it's a true story. Okay, so this is a little bit about the Titanic and why it sank. All right, so the first one, this part of the story, this is written in active, and this is written in passive. But there is a mixture. Passive, passive, the active, here it's all in active. So some people built the Titanic in 1912, and they thought that it was unsinkable. Because of this, they did not give it enough lifeboats for the passengers and crews. All right? A collision with a huge iceberg damaged the hull, and it sank very fast. The ship drowned a total of 1,513 people. Okay? See, some people built the active narrative, and they thought it's all inactive. Because of this, they did not give it enough that's active. A collision with a huge iceberg damaged the hull. A huge iceberg damaged the hull. It's active, and it sank very fast. The ship drowned a lot of, a total of 1,530 people. So clearly, they are all in the active sentence. All right. Did you understand this?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right. It's because active sentences are very easy to understand. Sentences are shorter. So that's why it's easier to understand. All right. Now look at the second one. This sounds more like, again, giving facts and information and no personal, tone in it. All right. So you'll see a mixture. All right. Okay. The Titanic was built in 1912. See, was built. Thank you. The people built Laswa. The Titanic was built in 1912. Titanic says the Titanic, the 1912 series. It was designed in a new way and was thought to be unsinkable. All right. Because of this, it wasn't given enough lifeboats for the passengers and crew. Passengers any lifeboat lifeboat all right. You see to see the accident me lifeboat but this ship was not given enough lifeboats for the passengers. Lifeboat why? Because everybody thought that it was unsinkable. The hull was damaged. The front part of the all right, it was damaged by a collision. The iceberg to the Tuni damaged and it sank very fast. All right, a total of 1,513 people were drowned that day. See, all these are passive. It's how much passive are they? Okay. You'll see, in between you'll see some active sentences, but most of these are passive. Which is easier for you to understand? This one, the first one, or the second one?
The first one.
The first one?
First one. Yeah, first one.
The first one is easier. Okay. So the second one is, very formal language. The whole purpose is to just give facts there, information there, mato. Okay. So that's the big difference there. Okay. So another example of how, when you use the active sentence, how does the language sound? And then what happens when it becomes passive? All right. So that's the difference there. Okay. So 1,500 people were drowned that day. Because of this disaster, a lot of magazines were printed in many languages. New international safety laws were passed and ice patrol was established. In 1985, the wreck was located on the seabed and the ship was explored. Several successful films have been made about the Titanic since then, and the most recent one was released in 1997. Understood?
Yes.
What is that?
No.
Understood?
Yes.
A lot of magazines were printed. Any safety laws that pass
No.
sub country any ice patrol any the karsa established. And so in 1980, the wreck was located on the seabed because and the ship was destroyed. Several successful films have been made about the Titanic since then, and the most recent one was released in 1997. So this is a little bit about the Titanic, or written in passive sentence. The whole purpose is not to tell you a story. Just to give you information, just to give you fact. It's better to use the active sentence. All right? But if you just want to give facts, then use the passive sentence. There is no, personal tone in it. Okay, so that's just an example. They exercise in that. Let's see if you can do this. Rewrite the following using an impersonal tone. All right, so they are announcement to you. This announcement, you tell me what. Oh, sorry, I just waited that we're going to have. Okay, all right. So if you look at this announcement over here, this one,
like to inform.
an announcement, and what sentence is this? Is this written in active, or do you think it's written in passive?
Active, yes.
Okay. Now, because it's an announcement, it has to be formal. All right. Usually it's formal.
Yes.
So can you rewrite this?
Yes.
So that it's formal.
I would like to inform everyone that are going to have a meeting at 4 p.m. in the hall today. Please come on time.
Okay, so this is active. But the passive, any there's and the active not.
It is to inform everyone that.
Yes, it is to inform.
It is to inform everyone that we are going to have a meeting at 4
Okay,
p.m.
we are the young with personal children.
Will be meeting. They will be meeting at 4 p.m.
Yes, that there will be a meeting at
4
4 p.m.
today. Please come on time.
Please come on time. Okay, so this is what this is how you would write it. Okay, so all right, this is to inform, or this is to inform everyone that there will be a
meeting at 4 p.m.
at 4 p.m. All right, in the hall today. Now, please come on time. The active rida, passive sena.
Passive sena.
Please, the correct request.
Please come.
Do come on time, please.
No, that's also passive.
Yes.
All are
requested to
be on time. To be on time.
Yes, to be on time. See the thing here, they all are requested the passive. Yes. All are requested. This is passive. Are requested, so they are requested. It's passive.
Yes.
So all are requested to be on time. This is to inform everyone that there will be a meeting at 4 p.m. in the hall today. All are requested to be on time. Or you can say, this is to inform everyone that a meeting will be held at 4 p.m. in the hall today.
Yes.
that
That
a meeting will
meeting
be
will be
held.
held. Yes.
Will be held
Held
at 4 p.m. in the hall today.
in the
All are requested to be on time. Okay? The formal. This is very formal because it has used a lot of passive sentences in it. Okay. This is active. This is active. All right.
Yes.
It sounds like a personal letter. All right. Okay. Now let's see if you can write this. Write an announcement for the monks at Sera regarding a 1-month lockdown rules at Sera Monastery due to COVID-19. Can you write an announcement?
Both in passive and active?
Right. This is an announcement from the office for the monks at Sera, and it is about a 1-month lockdown and the rules. All right, lockdown rules at Sera Monastery.
This is to inform that there will be a lockdown starting from today for 1 month, and
yeah, and
the
what about
rules
the
will be everyone should stay in their home.
everyone should stay learn the chaswa, active chaswa.
All are requested to be on their own home.
Okay.
And if necessary, when they come out, they should everyone all should be worn mask.
No. They pajama. They na we na I didn't love any informal chilta, active chilta. All right. And the love swat. Okay, listen.
All are requested to be on home and
Let's
to
go
wear
on. Okay, let's see. How did you start?
This is to
announce the monk, etc.
Inform
all the monks
at Sera
that
there
will be a lockdown.
There will be a lockdown. That there will be
lockdown
for 1 month.
Yeah.
Of the monastery.
Yes.
For 1 month.
For 1 month.
Beginning when?
Beginning from today.
Beginning from today. Okay, beginning from today. Full stop.
And all are requested to follow the rules.
All are requested to strictly
follow the rules.
Follow the
rules.
Okay. Follow the rules. Okay. Rules
are
okay. Let me put number 1. The number 1
all are requested to stay at home.
To be in their homes. All are
requested
to be
at
their homes. And
secondly,
masks
should be worn
all the time. Any shamba?
100 time.
There should not be gathering. Social distancing must be maintained.
Social
distancing
must be maintained. Shamba?
Unnecessary wandering are prohibited.
Unnecessary
wandering
are prohibited.
Yes, wanderings are prohibited. Formal language are prohibited. Passive voice. Okay. All right. So those two things. It becomes very formal language and perfect language for announcements, official announcements. All right.
Yes.
Oh, Daddy. Now, if you are, if you want to have, let's say, a picnic and you want to invite your friend, then you don't use such language. You use informal language.
Yes.
All right. So, and you want to invite your friends, use the active sentence, use informal. All right, can somebody do that? And talk with get and condition invitation G. You have to write it in the in an informal way. Use active sentences.
We are delighted to invite you to lunch.
I would like to inform.
Yes. No, not inform.
I would like.
Very formal.
I
would like
to invite
invite
all my friends.
Yes.
Invite you
to join a dinner
invite you to join me for
dinner
dinner at my
at my home
tonight. At
Right.
what time?
At 4 p.m.
At 4 p.m.
Oh,
those this sounds. I would like to invite you to join me for a dinner at my home tonight at 4 p.m. Okay.
Yes.
See, it's a very what do you call it? A personal kind of a tone there.
Yes.
Okay, so you're using active sentence there. So it's a friendly letter. You write it to your friends. All right. Yami legunda dendelia you put the yami trouble to nation tenant to your marwa. All right. So be careful over here. You say?
Yes.
A little bit of an idea. All right. That idea is the stairs mother practice counts here. All right. Now here is an example of a letter of complaint. Samja, and complaint. Now this lady over here has written a letter to some railway department. She had a problem with the services in the train. So she's writing that. So very often you may, suppose you have an iPhone or you have a Samsung mobile phone, or you have some product that you bought and you're not very happy with it. So what you usually do is you write a complaint letter.
Yes.
In a call center, all right? You told you the manager. All right. Now this is again a business letter, so you have to be very formal. All right. So so she is saying, okay, that's her address. All right. And this is to whom she's writing the address. And she's saying, dear sir or madam, I'm writing to complain about the poor service provided by your train company. Really company service quality. Yesterday, I traveled on the 8:20 from Oxford to London. Not only was the train 10 minutes late leaving Oxford, but we were further delayed at Reading and no explanation or apology was offered. Furthermore, the heating broke down and the train got cooler and cooler. I complained to a member of staff who was most unhelpful and unsympathetic. As a result of delays, I missed an important meeting with a client, which caused financial loss and embarrassment. In the circumstances, I believe I am entitled to compensation. I look forward to hearing from you very soon. This is called a formal letter of complaint. You are writing a complaint letter to a company for poor services. Okay? And see a lot of passive sentences. You can see passive sentences used over here. Sample of how you can write a formal letter. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so the page. All right, so I don't know. Can you write a formal letter? Write a letter of complaint to Laji about the quality of food served at the monastery. You can use both active and passive sentences. You bet. That is so much. Complaint. You bet. Do you have any complaints in your contents, or I'm sure you have a lot of complaints. All right, so you can choose any complaint and see if you can write something like this. Can you write? You should write a lot. Okay. All right. So this okay. All right. Now we have been talking a lot about passive voice. Now, what happens when you overuse it? Some people overuse passive voice. Passive voice, all right? So if you fill your letters or your whatever, essay you're writing or your research with passive voice, there can be a big problem, all right? Let's see what happens. A good piece of writing makes use of both the active and passive sentences. All right. The passive is used only when there is no active sentence for it, or when the person doing the action is unknown, or when it's not important to mention the person doing the action, such as in scientific writing. Overusing the passive voice can make your sentences awkward and boring. Any sentence all right, and it's not very interesting, all right, because it's like you're giving facts, information, and there's no feeling in it, there's no personal tone in it, so it gets very boring. Okay, all right, so it makes the message less clear because it's wordy, and the message yourself should make us correct. And turned out the lamsa maquage. All right. And get the kudu marriage and bobor so rashaji girny love dead. All right. And the sentence structure is also very complex. Sentence so it makes it difficult to understand. All right. So passive voice to guna mother page all right. So just use it, but use it wherever it is absolutely necessary. Okay. So now here, look at this. Public television can be perceived by some as boring, or many viewers find public television boring. The first one or the second one?
Many viewers find public television.
Second one.
The second one is easier because this is active sentence. This is active, all right? See, it's shorter. This is long and it's full of words, very wordy. Okay, and the structure is also very complex. So it's more difficult to understand. So if you keep filling your essays or your writings with this kind of a sentence, people are going to get bored, all right? And it's going to be very difficult to get the message, all right? So usually, you have to use this only when it is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, don't use it. Research, and research search in this research that didn't not in the level tungurda. All right, nam you pay give you a search. Roya. All right, so be very careful when using the passive sentence. Practice all right, so active sentence so you got to be perfect in using the active sentence.
Yes.
All right, so that's all about the active and the passive voice in the English language. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yes.
So I hope you learned something.
Definitely.
Did you learn anything? Yeah. I hope
No.
I hope I was able to add something more to your understanding of active and passive voice. Okay, all right, so we finish with just an introduction to the passive and the active voice. All right, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.